Hello to all my dear followers. I want to welcome you to a new chapter of the fanfic What If Naruto Mastered All of Minato's Jutsus. Always remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you want the next chapter. Without further ado, enjoy.
So sensei, what are we doing today? Asked Naruto in a very excited voice. Itachi chuckled at his excitement and handed him chakra paper and said, "This is chakra paper, it will help us find your elemental affinity. Channel your chakra into it and see the result. If it's fire it will burn, it will soak if it's water, cut down in half it is wind, turn to dust if it's earth, and will wrinkle if your affinity is lightning." Normally every shinobi has one affinity to start, and from there onwards affinities can be learned via training. Any questions? Just one. Is it possible for a person to have more than one affinity? Naruto curiously asked. It is indeed possible, however multiple affinities normally points to an elemental bloodline trait. Like wind and water make Hayaton, fire and rock create lava, water and earth create Mokuton, lightning and wind creates Ranton, etc. Said Itachi as he signaled Naruto to channel his chakra into the page. As soon as he channeled his chakra into the page, it was cut into 25 pieces, all of which first wrinkled and were then soaked. Both Naruto and Itachi were watching with dumbfounded expressions, still coming into terms with what happened. So I have an extremely strong affinity for both wind, lightning and water. I am awesome, Databayo. Naruto exclaimed before immediately face-palming at his verbal tic. I thought I had it under control. He grumbled with a sigh. Itachi chuckled at the boy and ruffled his hair before saying, "Hey, now there's no need to hide your verbal tic, it's part of who you are. In fact, I can already imagine your bingo book nickname Konoha's Genius Knucklehead." Itachi said before he burst out laughing, which was very unusual for someone as introverted as Itachi. Naruto glared at him before he grinned maliciously and said, "And in the next update of said bingo book you will get an additional nickname of Konoha's Stuttering Confessor. Databayo." Naruto said this time with a foxy grin. Itachi glared at Naruto before both of them burst out laughing. After they stopped, Itachi said, "Alright Naruto, I want you to create 125 clones, give 75 of them leaves. 25 of them will work on cutting the leaf, 25 will work on soaking theirs, and finally 25 will work on wrinkling it. This is the basic exercise of elemental manipulation. After that I want 25 of them to practice these katas for the Goken style, and finally the remaining 25 will practice the Uzumaki sword style." Understood? I agree on the others, sensei, but isn't there another sword style I could use? I don't want to use her style, Naruto stiffly said. Itachi sighed. He really wanted to help his godmother, but it seemed Naruto was not interested in reconciling with her. Bending down to meet Naruto's eyes, Itachi said, "Listen Naruto, the Uzumaki sword style is the best one for you. It is the strongest style out there and only a few can master it. It depends on not only speed but power as well, not to mention your chakra chains. It would be a waste if you didn't try it." Itachi said in a soothing voice. "Fine, I will try it, but only because you told me to." "But sensei, I don't even have a sword," Naruto said. "Well, get your clones out and get them reading and manipulating. Today they read the kata scrolls and we get the sword. Tomorrow they can practice with and we go on a C rank mission." Itachi replied. "But sensei, don't I have to do D ranks first?" Naruto asked with a tilt of his head. Naruto, D ranks are primarily built for teamwork among genins. Since we are a two-man cell it's unnecessary. 2 you are already mid-chunin already, so it's fine. 3 as much as I hate to say to the villagers won't let you get close enough for D ranks. So we will only be doing C rank missions and higher. Now let's go get your sword," said Itachi as he turned and started walking. Naruto quickly created 125 clones and had them do what Itachi had instructed him to before running up behind Itachi. Soon the teacher-student duo made their way to Dragon's Lair. As soon as they entered, Naruto shouted, "Kaiza Ajizan, where are you?" "Right here brat, stop shouting," came Kaiza's reply as he came up to greet the pair. As soon Naruto saw, he locked himself at the shopkeeper and tightly hugged him. Kaiza hugged him back as he chuckled. "So brat, what do you need?" asked Kaiza. "Kaiza Ajizan, I need a sword to start my kenjutsu training." Oh, and this is my sensei Itachi Uchiha. Naruto finished pointing at Itachi. Hello Itachi-san. I have heard a lot about you and hope you teach Naruto well, said Kaiza as he shook hands with Itachi. I promise to teach him to the best of my ability, Kaiza-san. Now could you please show us some of your swords? Asked Itachi, to which the man nodded and motioned for them to follow him. The trio made their way to one of the corners in the store. The corner was full of swords. There were all sorts of swords here, from the wakizashi, to the kodachi, and from the zanbato to your regular ninjato. Making his way through swords, Naruto soon found that nothing was attracting him. He was about to leave before his eyes fell on a sword. It was a beautiful katana with a white sheath. It had the Namikaze logo on the sheath, while the kanji for sky was printed on its hilt. As soon as he saw it, Naruto knew that this was the sword for him. It was perfect, beautiful, deadly, made for fast-paced accurate attacks, which was his style of combat. Moreover, it felt as if the sword was calling out to him. Instinctively his hand moved to pick it up. In his hand JT felt perfect, as if it was an extension of himself. Turning around to the adults, he shouted, Kaiza Ajisen, Itachi-sensei, I have found the sword I need. He then pointed at the sword in his hand. Kaiza's eyes widened as soon as he saw the sword, and then he smirked and said, Damn Gaki, you have a very good choice. Said Kaiza. How do you mean, Kaiza? Asked Itachi. Let's just say that sword just arrived from the land of iron today. It was personally crafted by the legendary swordsmith Murasame. It is made of chakra-conducting metal. The more chakra you conduct, the harder it gets. Also, Lord Mifune sent a scroll with that sword. It's called the Itoryu style. I recommend Naruto to learn it. It's among the top 5 sword styles out there. Said Kaiza. Wow. You hear that, sensei? Now I can have my own personal style. Yada, I am the best. Naruto excitedly said. Now Naruto, you still have to learn the style first. Since we have this, I don't think the swirl style will be necessary. Also, Kaiza, what's the cost for the blade and the scroll? Asked Itachi. Don't worry, that's taken care of. Hiruzen made it so when he bought the Gaki to me 8 years ago. Said Kaiza with a wave of his hand. With a thank you, both Naruto and Itachi left the shop and made way to their training ground. Upon returning, they saw 50 clones groaning in frustration and the others doing what they were. Itachi knew it was due to the slow rate of progress. So he then called out Imagine Wind to be sharp and moving in opposite direction, while Fluid and Thumping for water. Along with Pulsing for lightning. The clones nodded, started trying again. Naruto on the other hand created 60 more clones and said 10 of you chakra control, 25 continue with our Fuin Jutsu, and 25 of you start this Kenjutsu style. Go work with the other Kenjutsu group. Why did you create another 25 for Kenjutsu, Naruto-kun? Itachi asked in a confused tone. Well, I promised you to learn the Uzumaki style and I never break a promise, it's my nindu. Naruto replied, to which Itachi nodded. Suddenly Naruto wore a mischievous grin and he said, Nissen, let's go, we need to get you to ask I am Nei-chan out today. He pulled Itachi by the hand and led him away. Now it's simple, all you have to do is repeat after me and it will all be okay. Said Naruto, to which Itachi nodded as he wore the radio given to him by Naruto. Making his way into the bar, Itachi sat down and said, Afternoon I am, how are you? I am blushed and looked at him before answering. I am okay. Can I get you something? Only if you make an extra bowl and eat with me. Don't worry, I will pay for it. Said Itachi, repeating Naruto's words. Oh, is this a date? I am asked in a sultry voice. Aye, it is. Itachi stuttered out, blushing, and Naruto face-palmed. You are on your own now, sensei. Just kiss her. Take that final step. It's a leap of faith, do it. Naruto shouted into his ear. Itachi gulped before he suddenly got up and kissed I am square on the lips. Time seemed to slow down as they kissed each other. In that moment they were the only ones that mattered. A few seconds later both broke the kiss and a blushing Itachi whispered, I love you, will you give me the honor of being my Squealing, I am locked herself into Itachi's arms while shouting yes repeatedly. Tucci appeared sometime later and saw the blushing couple sitting together and eating. Connecting the dots, he smiled and decided to leave them be today and tease them on another day. Naruto smiled, looking at the calm and happy look on his sensei's face, and then disappeared via a shushin, going back to his training ground. I am not gonna write the bell test or anything. It's the same everywhere. I am gonna go straight to the report and missions, asterisk. Okay then, report. Hiruzen said to all the Jonin senseis in front of him. Team 1 failed. Team 2 failed. Team 3 failed. Team 4 failed. Team 5 failed. Well, since Kakashi isn't here, let's carry on. Hiruzen said, not wanting to wait for the silver-haired Jonin to continue the proceedings. Team 7 passed. I made them do a teamwork drill where they had to try feeding Puck. Said Kushina. Who is this Puck Kushina? Asked Hiruzen. My pet rabbit. Said Kushina with an anime smile. Team 8 passed. I had them perform a tracking mission where they had to find me. Shino used his bugs to track me down. Yakumo has gotten much better with her genjutsu and managed to trap me for 10 seconds before I broke out with Aizen getting the hit on me. Kurenai stated. Team 10 passed. I had them 3 fight me. Ino is the bossy one who motivated both the boys to try harder. Choji is the team's muscle, whereas Shikamaru is the brains. He got me trapped in his shadow bind, then Ino used her jutsu to try invading my mind before Choji hit me and she left. Said Asuma with a puff of smoke from his cigarette. Naruto passed. I already knew how strong he was, so having him tested was a waste of time. I have already started his training. Said Itachi, garnering shocked looks from around the room. What? Itachi said in an annoyed tone. No offense to you, Itachi, but all of us saw his academy scores, he was below average. Why would you even want to train him? Asked Kurenai with all other Jonins except Kushina, who was seething in anger. Itachi and Hiruzen both looked at the Jonins blankly before Itachi broke into chuckles and Hiruzen roared in laughter. When the laughter died down, Itachi looked at the Jonins with an amused look and said, Naruto said, and I quote, the academy is useless. It's all a waste of time. I'd rather build up my practical skills rather than stick to learning useless history. He has been training since he was 4 and I have been following his progress since he took out a Kyumo Jonin. He is at least mid-Chunin level and will only grow strong under me. Itachi's statement caused all the Jonins to drop their jaws. It was then that Kakashi entered the room and said, sorry, I am late, I got lost on the road of life. Everyone was broken out of their stupor at his statement and then sweat dropped at his bad excuse. Kakashi then said Team 7 passed but barely. They didn't understand the true meaning of the bell test and only worked to get the bells alone. They each other after I ordered them not to, which is why they passed. Alright then everyone, thank you for your reports, you may leave. Said Hiruzen. After everyone left, Hiruzen sighed and created shadow clones for his paperwork and himself started reading a novel. With Naruto, asterisk. Naruto was casually walking in the streets, ignoring the usual glares that people were sending his way. Suddenly he spotted something on the wall to his right and said, alright, come on out now, Konohamaru. There was a puff of smoke and from it came out Konohamaru, a girl with orange hair and a boy with a droopy nose with glasses. Boss, how did you find us? Konohamaru whined. Chuckling, Naruto ruffled the boy's head and said, yourself is good for an academy student but not good enough to hide from a real ninja. Now then, who are you two? I am Moegi and I am the most beautiful girl in the academy. The orange-haired girl said. And I am Udon. I like math. Said the boy with the glass. And we together are the Konohamaru Corps. The 3 academy students said together. Clapping at the introduction, Naruto said, nice to meet you guys. It's good to see that you already recognize each other as a team. I have a little doubt that when you become ninjas you will be among the greatest ninja teams Konoha has ever produced. Ah, boss, you are making us blush. Said Moegi. Do you really mean it, boss? Asked Udon. Whereas Konohamaru just bounced with happiness at receiving the praise. I meant it, Udon. Now you 3, I won't be able to play ninja today, so how about I cook something for you? Asked Naruto. Snapping his neck towards Naruto, Konohamaru said, boss, you know how to cook. Yup, now follow, we are going to my home. I may even show you one of my jutsus. said Naruto as he turned and started walking towards his home, the 3 genin eagerly following him. When they reached his home he turned around and said, "So what do you guys want? Request anything you want, I will cook it for you. If you insist, then I'd like some curry and rice," said Moegi with a blush. I would like some steak," Udon said as he rubbed the back of his head. "I could use some pasta," said Konohamaru as he scratched his cheek nervously. "Got it. Go in the lounge, watch some TV or read any books. I will call you when the food is ready," said Naruto as he headed to the kitchen. The 3 shinobi hopefuls were amazed to see the amount of books and scrolls inside Naruto's home. They tried to open a few scrolls but they were sealed by a blood seal and hence dropped the attempts and kept them back. About 20 minutes Naruto called out, "Oi, come in the kitchen, food's ready." The 3 kids went to the kitchen to find 4 plates of steaming food on the counter. As they sat down, Naruto came in wearing an apron, wiping his hands with a towel. "Well, aren't you gonna eat?" he asked with a foxy grin. "Itadakimasu." All 4 of them said together and they began to eat. After the first bite all 3 kids began scarfing down their food at an abnormal pace. After they finished all 3 spoke up and said, "Boss, where did you learn to cook like this?" Konohamaru asked giddily. "This is the best thing I have ever eaten," Udon said. "He cooks better than Mom." Moegi mumbled with a blush. "I am glad you like it. I also prepared some for you guys to take home with. Now I will show you a jutsu that I may or may not teach you when you graduate from the academy, and after that you will go home." "Agreed?" Naruto asked, to which all 3 of them nodded. Naruto then stood up and formed a perfect Rasengan in his arm and showed it to the kids. All 3 of them had eyes as wide as saucers. It was then that Konohamaru asked, "Boss, what is that jutsu? It looks so strong." He said, his voice laced with curiosity. "That was, young friend, is one of signature moves called the Rasengan. It's an A-rank jutsu," said Naruto. "Boss, how were you able to do that jutsu without any hand signs?" Udon asked, his eyes full of admiration. "That was because this move depends completely on chakra control and manipulation. You don't need to mold it to use it," said Naruto. "Boss, can you teach it to us?" Moegi asked. "I can, but only after you graduate. Now promise me you will not talk about this jutsu with anyone. It's one of my trump cards and I wish to keep it a secret for as long as possible. Am I clear?" Naruto said and asked in a serious voice. "Yes/okay/yup." All 3 of them said and then left Naruto's home. Naruto, after cleaning up, went for a shower, and after coming out he dispelled his clones, getting all of their knowledge and experience. The next day, It was early in the morning. We can see both Itachi and Naruto making their way for their first mission. Naruto, being as he was, did not wait to knock the door to the Hokage's office and kicked it open and launched himself at the old Hokage, who already had his hands out. "Ah, it's good to see you, my boy. How are you?" Hiruzen lovingly asked. "I am fine, Gigi, here for my very first mission," Naruto replied with a fox-like grin. Before Hiruzen could reply, Itachi said, "Hokage-sama, I want to request 8 C-rank missions for Naruto and I." "Are you sure, Itachi? I mean, he is a fresh genin." Hiruzen replied. "I know, Hokage Dano. But we know he has no team to work with and the civilians won't let him do any D ranks. So the next best course of action will be to do C ranks. And I asked for more than one because I thought it would be a good change of pace for Naruto to move out of the village for a while," said Itachi. "You make a valid point, Itachi. Fine, here you go, these are 13 C-rank missions that shouldn't take more than 2 months to complete. I will expecting you back soon," Hiruzen said as both Itachi and Naruto nodded before leaving to pack their things. An hour later both of them signed out and left the village. But not before creating 60 clones with enough chakra to last for 2 months. They were to continue working on things they had started. With Team 6. 4 hours later, "Yo!" said Kakashi as he arrived in the training ground that was reserved for his team. "You are late." All 3 genin shouted. "Well, you see, I was on my way when a black cat crossed my path. For that reason I had to turn around and take the long way here." Kakashi lazily answered. Liar. Sakura shouted. Mama Sakura, now that we are all here, let's start our training. For the first week we will only do teamwork drills and a few missions. I will explain the next phase of your training when we reach the second week, said Kakashi. He then proceeded to blindfold all three of his genins and tasked them to pass a ball in between each other. They obviously failed miserably and none of them were able to catch the ball even once. After 3 hours of this exercise they decided to visit the Hokage and get a couple of missions done today. With Team 7. At the same time, asterisk. So team, glad you could make it. We will begin the day with a little training. Then we will perform a few missions and after that we can do some personal training on any factors that you might want to improve on, said Kushina as she looked at her genins. The three genins nodded and began the physical training menu that Kushina had set for them. As she was watching her genins train she couldn't help but wonder how Naruto was doing. She was waiting for him to get used to her presence in the village and then try to talk to him, but she had ultimately been stopped by her best friend Mikoto Uchiha, who argued that the current peace may be destroyed if she moved too hastily. She continued observing her genin for 2 hours before signaling them to stop and then going to the Hokage Tower to get some fresh missions in. Back with Team 6, asterisk. Team 6 reporting for missions Hokage-sama, Kakashi said as he entered the Hokage's office with his 3 genin following behind him. All 3 of them were buzzing in excitement for their first mission as ninjas. Alright then, let's see, we have a house that needs painting, a garden that needs weeding, a mission to catch Tora, and a few more. What will you take? Asked Hiruzen, surprising the genin with the absurd level of the missions. Meanwhile Kakashi and Hiruzen inwardly smirked looking at the reaction of the genin. We will take the weeding and the painting missions, sir, Kakashi said as Hiruzen nodded and handed them 2 scrolls, after which they left. As soon as they left the building, Kiba pointed a finger at Kakashi and said, Oi sensei, what's with these chores? We are ninjas, we need proper missions. Both Sayuri and Sakura nodded along with what Kiba said. Kakashi however waved his hand dismissively and said, you are fresh out of the academy. To get any high-ranked mission you need to at least have 40 to 50 D-rank missions. So better hurry up if you want to leave the village for a mission soon. The 3 genins grumbled but nonetheless complied and made way to start their D-rank missions. With Team 7, asterisk. Hokage-sama Team 7 reporting for missions database. Kushina chirped. The Hokage smirked and threw her a scroll which she caught. After reading the mission statement she smirked as well. Motioning her team to follow her, she left the office and started explaining the D-rank mission to catch the demon cat Tora. All 3 genins screamed in indignation at being tasked to perform such a trivial mission. However, they all soon quietened down after Kushina's hair split up into 9 parts and started floating, all the while having a strange red aura around her that oddly resembled the Kyuubi. The scary scene in front of them quickly shut the 3 genin up as they quickly ran to start their missions in order to avoid the wrath of their mother/sensei. After finally allocating the missions, Hiruzen sighed and looked at the sky before thinking, I really need to choose a successor. I am getting way too old for this shit. Back with our knucklehead genius star. So sensei, what is our first course of action? Naruto curiously asked. Well, our first 3 missions are relatively simple as all 3 are within the land of fire. We first have to visit the fire temple to deliver a letter from the Hokage, then we have to go and get a document from the daimyo and deliver it to the Hokage. And lastly we need to receive some chakra metal from the envoy of the land of iron at the border of the fire country. I am sure you can use your summons to deliver, right? Itachi explained and asked while receiving a nod of confirmation from Naruto. Okay sensei, what about the other missions? Naruto asked. After that we will visit Takigakure for giving them a trade agreement from the Hokage. Then we have a mission from the Uzumaki clan to go to Kusagakure and get the member of said clan that lives there. We then are to visit Lord Kazana in the land of snow and guard a festival for 3 days, and then escort him back to his castle. After that we will make a trip to the demon country where Lady Cheyenne resides. She has requested 3 missions of us to escort her to a temple where she will perform a ritual. Our second mission with her will be to protect her during the ritual and finally to escort her back to her estate. Then we go and give some documents to Tsunade, and then we have to go to the Wind Daimyo protecting him during his travel from the Wind capital and back. And after that we return home and rest for a few days. Itachi said. Wow, Nissan, I am so awesome doing so many good missions so early. I can't wait to show Gigi what I can do. Naruto excitedly said. Well, I am sure you will do us all proud. Naruto, now let us pick up speed. The faster we move, the earlier we finish. Itachi said as he quickened his pace with Naruto following in his footsteps. It had been 2 months since the genin started their missions, and now we can find both Teams 6 and 7 in the Hokage office awaiting to receive new missions. Ah, Teams 6 and 7 here for a mission. Well, let's see, we need shopping for an old couple, painting of a fence, catching Tora. So which will it be? Asked Hiruzen in an amused voice. Before any of the senseis could answer, Narumi shouted, none of them, we are ninjas, we already have completed our prerequisite 50D ranks, now give us a real mission. All the other genins nodded energetically to Narumi's outburst. Sighing, Hiruzen looked at Kushina and Kakashi and asked, do you think they are ready? As ready as they will ever be, though their teamwork needs work, but that will fix itself over time. Said Kakashi, getting a thankful look from his genins. Yes, I believe they are ready, and if anything goes wrong I will be able to handle it. Kushina said this time she was receiving thankful looks from her genin. Fine then, since I only have one C rank available, both teams can share it. Is that agreeable? Hiruzen asked. After receiving confirmative nods from both teachers, Hiruzen called out Mina-sen Tazuna in. After a while an old man having a bottle of sake in his hands entered the room. He looked at the genin and scoffed, saying, I paid for ninja, and what do I get? For princesses, one girl who looks weaker than a twig and an idiot who is a dog's pet. Get me some real ninjas. All 6 genins had to be restrained from attacking the old man. Hiruzen chuckled at the scene and said, now you can't kill the client. Now Tazuna, they are among our most promising genin and their senseis are elite jonins, they should be able to protect you just fine, so don't worry. Fine then. Listen up, my name is Tazuna, the great bridge builder. During the escort I want you to protect me with your lives. Said Tazuna as he turned around and left the room. Well, that settles it, I want you all to go and pack for a month. Meet us at the north gate after 2 hours. Now run along, me and Kushina-sama need to talk to the Hokage. Kakashi said as he sent the 6 genin away. Kushina then made a hand sign and the privacy seals in the room were immediately activated. Hiruzen then adopted a serious look and asked, what is it? We want to know where Naruto is. I haven't seen him or Itachi for almost 2 months now. Kushina worriedly said. Oh, don't worry, they are out on missions. Their last one ends today and they should be back in a couple of days. Said Hiruzen. What? You mean you sent my baby out on C-rank missions right off the bat? Kushina shouted. Hiruzen looked at her calmly and then said it was his sensei's choice. Naruto is our strongest genin who can give most of my chunnin a very hard time. Apart from that, no one would want to be close enough to the demon brat, as he is called. He couldn't do D ranks, but he needed experience, which is why I gave him the next best thing, C ranks, and several of them because I felt Naruto could use some time away from the hate of the villagers. Kushina slowly nodded and let a few tears escape her eyes as she quietly said, that doesn't mean I can't be worried about him. I am already suffering the consequences of my mistake, I wouldn't be able to survive if something happened to him. As she finished, her crying turned into sobs. Hiruzen then gave her a grandfatherly hug and let her loose. He knew that she was in turmoil and she needed to relieve the pressure before it got to her. There, when Naruto gets back I will try talking to him. Everyone deserves a second chance and I hope that he forgives you too. Hiruzen soothingly said to the crying woman in his hands. Kushina nodded before she broke the hug and left after thanking Hiruzen. I guess we really need to get Naruto to at least open up on the possibility of forgiving Kushina-sama. Kakashi solemnly said. I know, Kakashi, I know. Truth be told, I view Kushina as my daughter, she was entrusted to me when Mito-sama died. I wasn't able to stop her then, but I really hope Naruto finds it in his heart to forgive her. I won't make Naruto do anything, the poor boy has already suffered so much. What I will do is talk to him thoroughly and then leave it up to his judgment. Said Hiruzen. Kakashi then nodded in agreement before saluting and leaving the room. Damn you Minato, look at the mess you left me in. Why did you have to sacrifice yourself? I could have easily performed the very same sealing ritual. Hiruzen dejectedly thought before going back to doing the paperwork. He didn't want to use shadow clones today because he needed a distraction today. With Teams 6 and 7, *. 2 hours later all 6 genin were seen impatiently waiting for their senseis and client to arrive. What's taking them so long? Mito whined. Get used to it, Kakashi-sensei is always late. Sakura grumbled and said. I wonder what type of mission will this turn out to be. Hinata thought out loud. Hinata over the 2 months had warmed up to the twins and had actually removed the mask of arrogance that she wore. The twins soon learned that she was actually a very caring person who had to hide herself because of her clan, and to show someone special that she was strong. What do you mean, Hinata? Narumi curiously asked. I was just wondering how our first mission will play out. It's my first time leaving the village, so I am a little nervous. Hinata replied. It's my first time as well and I am feeling excited. I wonder if we get to fight out there. Sayuri said with a thoughtful look. There is no need to worry because if we are attacked I will handle it and protect you. Kiba cockily said, trying to assert himself as the alpha of the group. Both Mito and Narumi burst out laughing as his attempt, and Hinata said, seriously, you take the pack seriously, all of us here are around the same in terms of strength, so put a sock in it, dog breath. Before Kiba could answer, Kushina appeared pulling both Kakashi and Tsunade by the collars. Okay, now that we all are here, let's begin this mission. And with that all of them left the village. 2 hours later Kakashi and Kushina noticed a puddle of water in the middle of the road. It hasn't rained in weeks, there shouldn't be any puddles. Unless it's a genjutsu. Both the Jonins thought at the same time. They however decided to ignore it and see how things played themselves out. As both Jonins crossed the puddle, 2 ninjas sprung out of it and used sharp wires to cut both Jonins into multiple pieces. Kachin/sensei, all the genins shouted in shock. 2 down, 6 to go, said one of the 2 ninjas, and using a chain to connect themselves and attack the genins. However, they were intercepted by Mito, Narumi, Hinata, and Sayuri. Mito and Narumi used the fast power-based attacks of the Swirl Fist and their teamwork and finally knocked one of the attacking ninjas out. On the hand, Hinata used her gentle fist to temporarily paralyze their opponent before Sayuri hit the finishing blow on the ninja's neck, effectively knocking him out. As they tied the unconscious ninjas, both the Jonins appeared out of the woods, and then Kakashi said, good work teams, you didn't freeze, and took out 2 Chunin-level opponents. Not only that, you guys had covered Tsunade as well to save him in case any stray attack got past. Good work. Sensei, you are alive. Sakura shouted in relief. Yeah, we just replaced ourselves with logs. Kushina said, pointing to the spot where they had been supposedly cut to pieces. Hey, wait, if you were alive, why didn't you defeat those ninjas yourself? Tsunade asked. Oh, for 2 reasons. 1, we wanted to see how our genins reacted, and believe me when I say they reacted perfectly. And 2, we wanted to know whether those ninjas were attacking us or were after you. Now that we know, how about you tell us the truth, Tsunade? Kakashi said with a glare. I don't know what you mean. Tsunade stammered out. Then let me spell it out for you. C-rank missions don't deal with ninjas. There are rogue ninjas after you. This mission is easily a rank. You risked the life of my daughters and my student. You better give me a good reason why you did that before I castrate you. Kushina menacingly snarled out. Fine, I will talk. Have you heard of Gato, the richest man in the elemental nations? Well, he came to the wave recently and took over the whole country. He unfairly taxed people and then used thugs to kill those who opposed him. Because of that, the wave country couldn't afford any mission higher than AC rank 1. The only hope for the wave is for me to complete the bridge to open a direct trade route. Gato wants me dead because that bridge would disrupt his business. Tsunade explained. You put my team in danger by hiding important mission. We right now have every right to cancel this mission. So guys, what will you do? Kakashi said as he turned to the genins. We continue. We can't let Gato kill the people of the wave, they are innocent. Mito said with the other genins all nodding in agreement. Very well then, but remember now this mission is a ranked and our next opponents will definitely be Jonin level at least. So remember if we tell you to run you run. Understood? Kushina asked in an uncharacteristically serious tone. All 6 of the genin gulped before nodding. Kakashi then bit his thumb and summoned his mean dog Pakin and said, Pakin, take this letter to the Hokage and tell him to send us a little backup. We were attacked by the demon brothers of the mist and don't know who we are facing next. The neem dog nodded before disappearing in a puff. The group then carried on their way to the wave. Hoping to avoid any further confrontations with rogue ninjas. They soon reached the coast from where they took a boat and sailed to the wave. After reaching shore they continued their trek towards Tsunade's home. On the way Kiba suddenly heard something move in the bush to his right and immediately threw a kunai in it. But the only thing that appeared was a white rabbit. Relax moron, not every sound you hear will be an enemy. Sayuri said in a monotone voice. However, both Kushina and Kakashi were having different thoughts. A white rabbit at this time of the year, it can only mean substitution. Everybody duck. Both of them shouted and then tackled everyone to the ground as a giant sword flew past them and then hit a tree trunk. So Sharingan no Kakashi and Konoha's Beneheim, no wonder the demon brothers failed. A voice said with a sneer. As everyone looked up they saw a tall man, with a masked face looking down on them. Zabuza Momochi, demon of the mist, what are you doing here? Kakashi lazily asked. Oh, nothing, me and my partner here, points to his back towards a man with white hair, were hired to kill that bridge builder. Just surrender him to us and we will let you and your genin teams go. Zabuza said as the white-haired man came out in the open and smirked at the Konoha nin. Mangetsu Hozuki, aka the White Death of the Mist. Said Kushina as stood up straight and stared down on her opponents. So a fight it is. Said Kakashi as he unveiled his Sharingan and stared at Zabuza. Right from the get-go, huh? I am so honored. Well then let's start, shall we? Hidden Mist Jutsu. Zabuza called out and suddenly the entire area had been covered by a very thick mist. The Konoha ninjas soon discovered that their dojutsus won't work as the mist was laced with chakra that blocked all the view. Suddenly the area was flooded with a very potent killing intent and both Zabuza's and Mangetsu's voices rang out. 8 vital spots: heart, jugular, kidneys, liver, subclavian artery, spine, larynx, lungs, now which will be our attack point. Their voices taunting the Konoha nin. The genins were shaking from the killer intent, unable to move as he sat there under the massive killer intent. Especially Sayuri. Slowly she was bringing a kunai up to her neck to end it but was cut off by Kakashi. Don't worry Sayuri, you will be alright, I will protect you, Kakashi said in order to prevent the untimely death of his student. Oh, I don't think so, said Zabuza as he appeared behind Tsunade and brought his cleaver down towards the bridge builder, but before he could, Kakashi intercepted and deflected the swing with a kunai. Kakashi kicked Zabuza back into the mist where he couldn't be seen before running off after him. Appearing behind the demon of the mist, he held a kunai to his larynx and slit his neck but noticed he turned into water. Mizabushin, the copy ninja, thought as he was struck with the cleaver, ripping him in half before dissolving into water. Well, I'm impressed Kakashi, even in the mist you were able to copy my moves, but that's all it is, a copy. It has nothing on the original, Zabuza boasted, planning his next attack. He kicked Kakashi out of the fog and onto the water. On the other hand, both Kushina and Mangetsu were locked in a stare down. I always wanted to see what the Beneheim was capable of and now my dream is about to be fulfilled. Mangetsu taunted out. Oh, I am glad that the strongest of the 7 swordsmen of the mist wanted to fight. Now enough chatter, let's fight. Kushina replied as she unsheathed her kodachis and released her chakra chains. After standing still for a few moments, both disappeared in bursts of speed and suddenly the whole area was full of red and white blurs that were accompanied by constant clashing of metal. The fight was soon a stalemate. Both the fighters moved at the same speed and hit with the same strength. But both knew that this was only a warm-up. They were just testing the waters with each other before they got serious. Back with Kakashi, he was now trapped in a water prison. He quickly turned to the genins and shouted, run now. He needs to maintain his concentration for this jutsu run. Before the genins could react or even answer, Zabuza made a water clone and sent it charging towards the genin. The clone swung the giant sword towards Sayuri, aiming to kill. She just closed her eyes and awaited death. However, nothing came except the sound of metal clanking. Opening her eyes, she saw a familiar tuft of blonde hair standing in front of her. It was Naruto, and he had stopped the clone's attack with a sword of his own. He then created two sealless clones that attacked and destroyed the clone he was locked with. The two clones then started going through hand signs and at the same time shouted wind/water style water/wind bullet jutsu. Both the bullets joined together and flew towards Zabuza, who had to release Kakashi to dodge it. Naruto then turned his head slightly to look at the 6 genin behind him and said, seriously, I leave you alone for a month and you guys go and get yourselves in front of death's door. Geez, I feel like a babysitter. He finished in a slightly depressed tone with a cloud visible over his head. Nikken/Dobe came the shouts of the genin behind. He immediately said, I will explain later, everyone protect Tsunade, take the diamond formation. All 6 genin begrudgingly complied and formed a perimeter around Tsunade. Back with Kakashi, asterisk. I got distracted and forced to let go of the water prison, Zabuza said, not wanting to think he was outsmarted by a fresh genin. Don't flatter yourself, you were forced to let go, Kakashi said as he waited for Zabuza to start the first move. Zabuza jumped away from Kakashi and started running through hand signs at the same time as Kakashi. In the end, both finished at the same time, ending shouting water style, water dragon jutsu. Identical dragon-shaped streams of water clash in the air and then cancel each other out. How did that happen? The Sharingan allows the user to copy and recreate what the other is doing, but they defiantly finished at the same time. How, thought Zabuza as the jutsu ended. Zabuza jumped back and started to run through hand signs, but failed to notice that Kakashi was once again performing the same jutsu, only this time faster. Water-style giant vortex jutsu. Kakashi finished and a large spinning wave of water hit Zabuza, throwing him into a tree. How are you doing that? Can you? Zabuza asked, but was cut off by Kakashi. See the future? Yes, and in your future, I see death. Kakashi finished for Zabuza. But before he could deliver the killing blow, Senbon needles shot out from a nearby tree and impaled into Zabuza's neck, apparently killing him. Thank you for weakening my target, I have been chasing him for a long time, the masked hunter Nin said in an even tone. Allow me to take the body, farewell Leaf Ninja, the masked hunter said as he picked up the body and left with a shunshin. With Kushina asterisk. The stalemate ended and both fighters jumped back, creating some distance between each other. Before anyone could react, a black figure jumped into the air, and after going through the hand signs, the figure looked at Mangetsu and shouted fire style great fireball jutsu. A giant fireball came out of the figure's mouth and flew towards Mangetsu and hit him head on. The force of the jutsu was enough to launch him into a tree. However, before the figure could finish his attack, a hunter Nin with white hair appeared and said, thank you for weakening him, I will take it from here. We were chasing him for a while now. The figure nodded and let the hunter Nin leave with Mangetsu's body. The figure turned around and said, Lady Kushina, it's been a while. Itachi, what are you doing here? Where is Naruto? She asked the figure, who turned out to be Itachi. He helped the other group, I think they are done as well. Let's get somewhere safe and we can exchange the recent events that happened to each of our groups. Itachi replied, to which Kushina nodded and turned to look at the other group. Back with them, Naruto was carrying a tired Kakashi back to the group. He then looked up to Tsunade and said, you must be the client, could you lead us to your home? As you can see, our comrade here needs rest. It was then that the Kushina and Itachi joined the group and they started making way for Tsunade's home. After walking a while, the group reached Tsunade's home. He knocked the door and said, Tsunami, I am home. After a few moments, a beautiful brown-haired woman appeared and hugged Tsunade, saying, Dad, you are back, you are not hurt, are you? No, I am fine thanks to all these ninjas, they are very strong. Tsunade replied. Excuse miss, could you give us a place where our friend can rest, he is tired. Naruto cut in. Oh, I am sorry, please follow me, said Tsunami. She then led them into a room where Naruto laid Kakashi in a futon and went back to the group. The twins were huddled together with Kushina obviously still shaken from the killing intent they had experienced early on in the day. As soon as Naruto arrived, both of them launched themselves at Naruto and cried. Naruto sighed before he started to rub their backs soothingly, trying to get them relaxed. He knew that experiencing that amount of killing intent for the very first time can leave a devastating effect. Soon they stopped crying but did not leave Naruto's side. It was then that Kushina looked at Itachi and said, "So what are you doing here, Itachi?" "Well, Lady Kushina, me and Naruto were returning from our mission to Kusagakure. However, before we could enter the land of fire we received a new mission which was to back your teams up. So then we picked up pace and came to the wave as soon as possible. When we arrived we saw you fighting and then made up a plan which was Naruto helping Kakashi and me helping you." Itachi explained, to which all the genin and Kushina nodded. Naruto then broke away from the twins and stood up before saying, "I am going out to meditate, I will be back soon." Naruto went out to the forest and sat down before he closed his eyes and meditated. This exercise calmed him, and even if he didn't show it, he was a nervous wreck right now. He had almost lost the only family he ever had. He was thankful that he reached when he did, otherwise things could have gotten much more worse. After a while he said, "You know, you can come out." From the back Sayuri and Hinata came out looking slightly sheepish. Sayuri then spoke and asked, "How did you know we were there?" "I sensed your chakra." "Now why would you two highness meet someone as lowly as me?" Naruto sarcastically asked. "Why did you save us again?" Hinata quietly asked. "Oh, so you guys remember from back then?" "Well, to be honest, I moved on my own. There was no prior plan, I just did." Naruto answered. "That doesn't make any sense. You make fun of us, hardly give us any attention, never talk to us, and yet you save us whenever we are in trouble. What's your problem?" Sayuri shouted. "Well, excuse me for not trying. After I saved you I tried to talk to you guys a lot, but it was your family that always pushed me away. After that I don't know what happened, but both of you became as you are. You started belittling me on every little thing. So don't blame me if I maintained my distance with you." Naruto shouted back. "We tried, believe me, we did. The only thing our dads allowed us to do was visit you in the hospital, and then it was over." Hinata said. "Don't make me laugh. Don't think I forgot what both of you said about me when I met with Aizen and Yakumo. Allow me to quote your words, Sayuri. Well, I thought he would be different considering he saved me, but I guess it was just wishful thinking. And you, Hinata, who said, and I quote, I think I understand why everyone calls him a demon. It's because only a demon can befriend a demon. Yeah, maybe your family asked you not to talk to me, but after that day at the academy I at least knew who my true friends were." Naruto replied, his voice laced with sadness. Both Sayuri and Hinata looked down. After a while Hinata said, "Both of us changed because you didn't pay us attention. Both of us became cold hard bitches because we thought that you liked strength in a girl. We trained as hard as we could and even changed our attitude so that we could perform brutal moves." She was however cut off when Naruto pulled both of them into hugs and said, "I didn't want you to change. I would have understood if you followed what your families asked you to, but that day those words were your own. You couldn't expect me to stay the same after what you said. I will be willing to become your friend again, but that's as far as I will take it. I am reserving my heart for someone who deserves it. Now is that all?" he asked as he let them go. Both girls nodded sadly and were about to leave when Naruto said, "Listen, don't let me hold you back. Your lives are your own. Go make your own future. I will support you along the way as a friend as long as your decisions are just." Both girls nodded and then left the clearing. "That went rather well," came Itachi's voice from behind him. "I hope you didn't mind me being harsh on her." Naruto nervously said. "Not at all, she needed that. Hopefully she wakes up to become even better than she already is." Itachi knowingly said, making Naruto smile. The next morning all the Konoha nins were seen sitting and waiting for breakfast. All except Naruto, who was helping Tsunade in cooking. When all of them had eaten, Kakashi cleared his throat and said, "Guys, Zabuza and Mangetsu are alive." "What?" screeched Sakura. "How can they be alive, sensei? The hunter nins took them," Mito said as she shivered a little in fear. "And that's exactly why they will be back. Normal hunter nin protocol is to cut the target's head as soon as possible and then burn the body. Since both the hunter nins took Zabuza and Mangetsu away, it is safe to presume that they were fake and were working with the two ex-swordsmen of the mist." Naruto explained. "How do you know all this, dope?" Kiba asked with a shocked look. "I read Kibble." Naruto said with a smirk as everyone else snickered at the nickname. Also I am guessing that they will call for backup since me and Itachi-sensei showed up. I think you should train the others until the fight Kakashi-Nissen, Kushina-sama. Me and Itachi-sensei will be able to protect Tsunade in the meantime. Naruto said. Yeah, that's right. However, another question comes to mind. Me Itachi and Kushina-sama will be able to deal with Mangetsu, Zabuza, and the backup they call, who will deal with their apprentices? Kakashi asked. I will deal with them. Naruto said. Are you sure you will be able to handle both of them? They will at least be at Chunin level. Kushina said with a worried look on her face. I will be able to hold both of them off until the three of you are done if I go all out. Naruto said. What do you mean all out? Does that mean you have holding back in the academy? Hinata. Yeah, I didn't use my Kekai Genka at the academy. Said Naruto. You have a Kekai Genka? Sayuri asked interestedly. Yes, it's called adamantine chains. Naruto said as he created 4 chains that came from his back. After a short pause, Kakashi clapped his hands and said, let's begin the training. Okay then, since Naruto will be guarding Tsunade, the 3 of us will be training you guys. Mito and Narumi, you'll go with Kushina-sama. Sayuri and Hinata, you'll be under Itachi, and finally Kiba and Sakura, you will be under me. Hopefully the 3 of you will be able to protect Tsunade from any attack that may happen during the fight that will happen 1 week from now. Said Kakashi as he explained his training plan to the genins. After that, all of the genins left with their respective senseis to begin their training. With Kakashi, asterisk. Alright then, we will start with you, Sakura. Over the past 3 months your physical conditioning and chakra reserves have exponentially grown. Because of that, we will now be focusing mainly on techniques. Here, this is a scroll that contains C to B rank genjutsus. I want you to learn them and be able to cast them quickly. After that, here is a scroll on some low-rank medical ninjutsu. Practice them, they actually may make a difference in the fight that will take place 10 days from now. Kakashi said as he handed Sakura 2 scrolls. Turning to Kiba, he said, Kiba, I know that your family does not really use that many ninjutsu, but for survival in this mission it is a necessary evil. This scroll has several C-rank Doton jutsu. I want you to start practicing them until you can perform all of them without a break. There are 2 offensive jutsus in this scroll and 3 defensive ones. I want you to start practicing. Now I will be leaving a clone to supervise both of you. I will going to the bridge to help guard Tsunade. Kakashi said as he handed Kiba his scroll. Both the genin nodded and started practicing as Kakashi left the clearing to head to the bridge. With Itachi, asterisk. Both of you already know the necessary basic jutsus and are quite proficient in your clan moves. Am I correct? Itachi asked. Both of the genin nodded in confirmation, which prompted Itachi to continue as he said, well, I will be training you to improve your dojutsus. Which is why we won't be using them during our training. And our training will consist of me attacking and you guys dodging. Any questions? Just one, how will we improve our dojutsus if we don't even use them? Sayuri asked in an annoyed tone. She was still mad about last night. Her Uchiha pride was getting in the way of seeing past her mistake. Though Hinata on the other hand was faring better and her kind side was resurfacing again. Look at it this way, foolish little sister, if you hone your body and reflexes without your dojutsus, they automatically work better when you use them because you will be able to react to situations better and faster than your normal speed. Itachi explained. After seeing the nods of understanding from both the genins, Itachi took out a scroll and channeled a little chakra into it. It poofed and from it 8 bracklets appeared. He handed 4 to each of the 2 genin and said, these are chakra bracelets. I want you to wear them on your wrists and ankles and then channel your chakra into them. Itachi said and then waited for both Sayuri and Hinata to do what he had tasked them to. As soon as the unsuspecting genin channeled their chakra, they were immediately brought on all fours with the drastic increase in weight. Both of them looked up and glared at Itachi, who was looking down on them with an amused expression on his face. Now then, stand up and get ready to dodge. The faster you move here, the more your muscles will develop and your speed will drastically increase when you remove the weights. I will start with high genin speeds and will gradually increase them over the week. Itachi said. And then he began the beatdown with both the genin desperately trying and failing to dodge him. With Kushina, star. Okay then Mito-chan Narumi-chan, I will be teaching both of you 5 new A-rank jutsus, one of which was your dad's original creation, the Rasengan. I want you both to make as many clones as you can and then go through these scrolls before practicing these jutsus. Kushina said. Kachin, can we ask Oni-chan for help with the Rasengan? Mito asked. Wait, you are telling me he knows the Rasengan? Kushina asked in a shocked tone. Yeah, and he has a real mastery over it as well. He told us that he has created almost 16 variations of the Rasengan. Narumi excitedly answered. Kushina was initially shocked, but that shock was soon replaced by an overwhelming sense of pride. She was so proud of what her son had achieved. He is just like you, Minato. I am so proud of him, and I am sure you would be proud of him as well. Kushina thought before she created a clone to supervise the twins, and she herself went to check on Naruto. She wanted to see him. With Kakashi, Finally making his way to the bridge, he saw several Naruto clones helping in the building, whereas Naruto himself was sitting on one of the corners and was staring off in a distance. Making his way towards him, Kakashi asked, how's it going? It's alright, the progress has been hastened thanks to my clones, other than that it was boring. You tell me, how is the training going? Naruto casually replied. It's going well, to be honest. By the way, is there anything I can help you with in your training? Kakashi asked. Well, I could use a few lightning jutsus. I have completed level 2 manipulation of all 3 of my elements. Sensei has taught me water and wind jutsus, but we didn't have time to work on lightning jutsus yet. Naruto answered. Well, it's your lucky day then. I have a lightning affinity and would be more than happy to teach you 2 lightning jutsus that I created on my own. Kakashi said. Really, you let me copy your own creation? Naruto asked in a shocked voice. Yes, I would. You are Sensei's legacy, it is kind of my duty to teach you. I really wanted to have you as my apprentice, but the Kusal voted for me to teach Sayuri. Though if you are going to learn these jutsus, I need you to promise me one thing. Kakashi finished in a stern tone. What is it, Kakashi-sensei? Naruto curiously asked. You are to never use these techniques against a comrade or a shinobi of the leaf. Do you promise? Kakashi asked in a serious tone. I promise, sensei, what you teach me will only be used to protect the village and nothing else. Naruto answered in an honest tone. Kakashi, I smiled and said, now look carefully. Said Kakashi as he went through the hand signs. Ox rabbit monkey, as he finished, lightning chakra had suddenly concentrated on his palm. The sound of birds chirping could be heard. Naruto's eyes widened when he saw the complexity of that jutsu through his Sharingan. This is Chidori, an A-rank assassination jutsu that is my personal creation. How do you like it? Kakashi asked, amused as he saw Naruto's dumbfounded expression. That's awesome, Kakashi-sensei, it's like the Rasengan. Naruto excitedly said. That is right, I based this move on the Rasengan using pure lightning manipulation. Now look carefully for the second jutsu. Said Kakashi as he went through the same hand signs, but instead of the normal Chidori, a sword made of pure lightning appeared. Naruto knew that this move was immensely more powerful than Chidori. And this is an S-rank assassination jutsu Raikiri, another one of my personal creations. Kakashi said. Wow, Kakashi-sensei, you are a genius. Both these moves are amazing. Naruto said as he created 4 clones and sent them to practice both of the jutsus. Sensei, there is something I need to talk to you about. Said Naruto, his voice uncharacteristically serious. What is it, Naruto? Kakashi asked. What would you do if your parent abandoned you and then came back to you asking for forgiveness? Naruto asked. It's about your mother, right? Naruto, I think you should forgive her. She needs you, Naruto. I know she made a mistake when she left you. But Naruto, you need to see that she had just given birth, had a demon literally ripped out of her and lost her husband. She was mentally exhausted and was a human. Your reasoning is very much valid. She made a mistake, but she is trying very hard to repent, but now you are the one who is making the mistake. Don't hold on or repeat the past, give your mother a chance before making a permanent decision that you may come to regret later on in your life. Kakashi said in a big brotherly voice. But sensei, you don't know how I am feeling right now. Naruto answered through gritted teeth and a frustrated tone. On contrary, I know exactly how you feel. Instead, I never had a second chance. My dad committed suicide when I was 4. He abandoned me at the mercy of the world, but I never had the chance that you have the chance to get back with your family who genuinely want you back. Kakashi spoke in an emotionless tone. What happened next surprised Kakashi. Naruto stood up and tightly hugged him and said, I am sorry I was out of line. I am afraid that she will leave me again if I let her back in. Kakashi crouched down and hugged Naruto back and whispered, in life the only thing certain is death, before that every decision is one's own. I know there are at times when the heart desires something but the doubt is still strong. It is at these moments that a person needs to take a leap of faith. That is what you need, Naruto. Give her a chance, she deserves it to say the least. Kakashi then got up and turned around and walked back to his students. It was then that Kushina appeared and walked up to Naruto and said, Naruto, how are you doing? Being the emotional mess he currently was, Naruto launched himself at Kushina and hugged her as he started sobbing. Kushina immediately hugged him back and started rocking him and spoke soothing words into his ear in an attempt to calm him down. What's wrong, Sochi? She worriedly asked. I am sorry, I have been an irrational jerk, I should have given you a chance to at least explain you did what you did. Naruto shakily replied. I am sorry too. I have no excuse for what I did that night. It was my worst mistake ever. I can only apologize to you. Please give me a chance, I will do everything I can to make it up to you. I am so sorry. She whispered back as tears began leaving her eyes as well. I forgive you, Kachin. Naruto stuttered as he continued crying. My Sochi. Kushina shouted before she started crying herself. Both of them stayed in each other's embrace for a while before they broke apart. After that, Kushina started touching Naruto and said, now stay still so that I can get a good look at you. Oh my god, you are a near carbon copy of Minato, you better be prepared for when you become older. You have countless girls coming after you. Kachin, stop it, you are embarrassing me. Naruto said as he tried to fight back a blush that was coming on to his cheeks. Kushina chuckled at his embarrassment and they both then started talking. Naruto told her all about his life, how he was kicked out and beaten from the orphanage, how he beat the Kyumo Jonin, all about his training, his Kekai Genka and his very own spiral release. Needless to say, Kushina was ecstatic when she learned that her son was halfway through level 6 at Sealing and had also started learning the Whirlpool sword style. She immediately offered to teach him in both of these fields, to which he immediately accepted. It was a chance for both of them to gain ground in each other's lives and then move on. They talked for a couple of hours, after which both of them along with Tsunade returned home. At home, all of the genins noticed a change in Naruto. His smile felt more real and his eyes looked much brighter than their usual selves. The reason was soon revealed when Tsunade asked, what would you guys like for breakfast tomorrow? Both Kushina and Naruto shouted at the same time, ramen. Are you sure ramen isn't exactly a breakfast dish? Tsunade asked and almost instantly regretted it. Ramen is food fit for the gods. Databao/Databane. Both Kushina and Naruto answered at the same time before looking at each other in shock. Databane? Kushina questioned in shock. Databao? Naruto questioned back. Databane. Kushina exclaimed in happiness. Databao. Naruto exclaimed in the same way before both of them hugged each other. What just happened? Hinata asked the question which was in everyone's mind. Oh, it's a thing about Uzumakis. When they get into a phase of extreme emotions, they unknowingly speak an extra word which can be thought of as a verbal tic. Itachi calmly explained. Everyone nodded before they started eating. Naruto was making small talk with nearly everyone. Given the fact that he had mended his bridges, with Sayuri, Hinata, his mom, he had a lot of topics to talk about. Until. Why do you try? You will all die in the end. Gato is too strong. Inari, Tsunade's son, shouted. Maybe for you, kid, but for trained shinobi us he isn't even cow fodder. Naruto answered calmly. What would you know about pain? I bet you have all lived sheltered lives in that ninja village of yours. You don't know what suffering is, the young boy yelled back. Before anyone could defuse the situation, a potent ki was felt in the room. Naruto then looked at Inari, his eyes having a cold hard look in them, and he then spoke and said, "Tell me, have you ever to see your best friends die in front of you? Have you ever lost your family just because a family member of yours had become power hungry? Tell me, have you ever been beaten, almost raped? Tell me, have you ever been hated and scorned by the very village you have sworn to protect? Tell me, have you ever had to struggle to get food to survive? I had to scavenge food from the garbage for 6 months before my Gigi found me and got me my apartment. So tell me, brat, what the hell do you know about suffering?" Naruto shouted. He then removed his shirt, revealing a body full of scars. He then glared at the wide-eyed boy and said, "When you look like this, then you will have a right to complain about life. Until then, shut up and stop judging others." He then grabbed his shirt and said, "I will out in the forest. I need to lose some steam." Itachi nodded at that, giving him permission to go. Kushina wanted to follow him but was stopped by Kakashi, who just shook his head. "Sensei, I understand the reference about you and Sayuri-chan. But Naruto's life can't have been that bad, right? And those scars, they must have come through training. Right?" Sakura asked, her voice almost pleading for them to agree with her. The twins and Hinata seemed close to tears, and Kushina was mentally planning torture sessions for all those who hurt Naruto. "You are right in a way, Sakura, but what Naruto told you was actually a sugar-coated version of what happened. Me and Itachi were there when he got his scars. Believe me when I say that it was the worst condition I had ever seen of someone who was only 4 years old. He was nearly dead before we rescued him. Then something worse happened when he's 6. His attackers didn't hit his vitals and beat him for the sole reason of breaking his mind. In this attack he was almost raped before the Hokage killed his assailants. But the worst thing is that the second attack had been ordered by the council, and the ones to carry it out had been the Hyuga." He finished in a sad tone, causing everyone to flinch. "That poor kid," Tsunade said as she brought her hands to her mouth. All the girl Genins were now openly crying with tears streaming down their faces. Kiba felt bad for the way he treated Naruto when they were younger. He realized that Naruto was the real alpha. He had a never-give-up attitude and was immensely strong in Kiba's opinion. He made a mental vow to apologize and make it up to Naruto as soon as possible. Kushina, for her part, felt even worse than before. She indirectly held herself responsible for what Naruto had suffered and hoped that she could give him the comfort and unconditional love that he desperately needed in his life. No one ate dinner that night, all lost in thought about their enigmatic maelstrom. "How are you this strong? I crumbled under simple pressure, but you still stand after all that. Why don't you hate me? My family was involved in that attack." Hinata thought as she sobbed for the blonde Sochi/Nissen. "I am sorry." The twins and Kushina thought. With Naruto, asterisk. Naruto was seen punching the trees as hard as he could. After a while he stopped and screamed out in frustration. It was then that he was suddenly pulled into something and he lost his consciousness. The last thing that he remembered was his grandfather's words: "Rage is a dangerous emotion. If you let it take over you, you lose everything and may end up losing everything you have. So remember to always have a calm mind and to never be unjustly angry." After a while he regained his consciousness and felt 2 unknown presences near him. He immediately opened his eyes to see a boy and a girl around his age. The boy was wearing normal dress clothes, had white hair, blue eyes, and had a feral look on his face. The girl on the other hand had a cute face, brown eyes, brown hair, and was wearing a pink kimono. "So how can I help you?" Naruto asked. "Oh, we were just collecting some medicinal herbs when we found you. You shouldn't sleep outside, you may catch a cold," the girl said. "Ah, don't worry about me, I have never gotten a cold in my life." "My name is Naruto, what's yours?" Naruto asked. "My name is Haku and he is Suigetsu." "Are you a ninja?" the girl asked. "Yeah, I kinda was training here before I fell asleep." "So how are Zabuza and Mengetsu?" Naruto casually asked, saw that both of his acquaintances had visibly tensed. "Relax, I am not going to tell anyone." I recognized your chakra signatures from back then. Naruto said. The girl relaxed whereas the boy still had his guard up. Naruto then said, so what's a girl like you, doing traveling with a ninja like Zabuza? Zabuza-sama saved me when I was kid and has raised me since then. So I owe it to him. Oh, and by the way, I am a boy. Haku said. Please, I call bullshit. There is on way you are a boy. Why? 1. You are wearing pink, 2. You have a feminine figure and a cute face, and last but not the least I can see the bandages around your chest area. Naruto replied with a scoff. The girl blushed red and screamed hentai whereas the boy just laughed. A flustered Haku was a very rare event to see and this blonde was capable of doing it quite easily. Naruto then stood up and said, well, I guess I will go now, see you guys in 8 days. I hope that we can become friends after all this is over. Both Suigetsu and Haku nodded at that as they watched Naruto leave.